Most hotel stories begin the same way. Tired guests dragging their bags through a lobby, collecting a key card, and heading up to their rooms. Nothing seems wrong. Nothing seems off. But in these stories, the moment the guests checked in, something was already watching them. It usually starts subtle, the elevator doors making a slow, metallic groan, the hallway lights flickering more than they should, and a cold draft lingering even when the windows are sealed shut. Guests described it as walking into a building that didn't want them there, or worse, wanted them permanently. When they entered their rooms, the sense of unease grew stronger. A half-open drawer, a faint smell of old cologne, the feeling that someone had been in the room just moments before they arrived. But nothing was missing, and nothing was broken. Almost like the room was prepared not for them, but for something else. Hours into their stay, things escalated. The air grew colder, objects shifted slightly when no one touched them. Some guests heard whispering just behind their head as they tried to sleep, whispers so close that they froze, too afraid to turn around. Then came the moments that made them realize this wasn't normal. Doors locking on their own, lights shutting off one by one, shadows moving across the floor even though the curtains were closed. One guest described waking up at 3:14 a.m. to the sound of someone breathing directly above their face. But when they sat up, the room was empty. Another saw the imprint of a person sitting at the edge of the bed, slowly rising, but no one was there. The terrifying part wasn't just what they heard or saw. It was the message they all felt. The room didn't want them to leave. Something inside those walls, something old, cold, and territorial, had claimed the space long before they arrived. And when they walked in, they became part of its story. The doors jammed when they tried to escape. The elevator refused to move. The hallways felt longer, darker, almost shifting like a maze. Every guest eventually escaped, but not easily, and all of them reported the same chilling experience. They felt like the hotel tried to keep them, like something was pulling them back, like they weren't meant to walk out. And in each case, that presence never followed them home. It stayed in the room, waiting for the next person to check in. Hotels already carry a kind of quiet loneliness. Even in the middle of a crowded city, the long, dim hallways and unfamiliar rooms can make you feel isolated, almost watched. But in these cases, the guests didn't just feel watched, they were. One of the most disturbing things about hotel horror is how normal everything seems at first. You unlock your room, drag your suitcase in, turn on the dim yellow lamp by the bed, and nothing looks out of place. But the moment you try to settle, the atmosphere changes. The air gets heavier. The silence becomes too deep. And then the knocking begins. It's 2 or 3 a.m., the hour when hotels are at their quietest. You're half asleep when you hear it. A single knock, then 2 more. Not loud, but slow, too slow. You wait for footsteps walking away, but there are none. Just silence. Eerie, motionless silence, like someone is still standing out there, listening. In these true stories, guests opened the door expecting maybe hotel staff or a confused guest, but every time the hallway was empty. No voices, no movement, no sound of doors closing.
just the cold air of a long corridor stretching into the dark. But the knocking was only the beginning. The moment the lights went off and the guests tried to sleep, something else began. The feeling of being watched. Not imagined, not paranoia. Real, heavy presence. Like someone was standing just out of sight, inches away.
Most people don't know this, but humans can sense when eyes are on them. And in these rooms, that instinct kicked in immediately. Guests described waking up suddenly with the overwhelming feeling that someone was in the room with them. They didn't hear footsteps, they didn't see a shadow, but they felt it, a cold weight pressing down on their chest. Some even described the sensation of someone sitting on the edge of the bed. Not enough to see the mattress move, but enough to feel the shift in air, enough to freeze your body in place. What makes these stories even chilling is that they are real, not legends, not creepypasta, real accounts from travelers who will never book a cheap hotel the same way again. And the scariest part? In every case, the presence didn't follow them home. It stayed behind, in the rooms, still knocking, still watching, still waiting for the next person to check in.